This is the game Jagged Alliance board game I've enjoyed playing. I've been playing it through a campaign, and I got to this section and all of a sudden I realized I have a problem I'm not sure if I can fix. If you look at it, you can see that I'm in the middle of a turn, and I have a lieutenant down here in the base. Lieutenant is Peter Kingpin Claus, and it makes all the enemies that I face in this little area, they're elite. Here is the little card that you flipped over, and it's a mustard gas area. Has 2 elite red shirts and 1 elite shield with 2 encounter tokens. I moved Cliff into this section, and then when I revealed the token, I realized I'm not so sure if I can actually handle this. So I put it up on BGG, and a friend of mine, Mr. Smith, has been helpful to me in trying to figure out what to do. So we're going to go ahead and try to do it. Cliff has one more command action available. He has 2 weapons. He has an SKS and a Beretta, but because of the mustard gas, I need to leave a stamina at the end because that's going to go to a wound. You'll see some of the different actions I have available as I go through. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the tracer round and the nail bomb from Shadow, and we're going to give them to Cliff. So Cliff is going to go ahead and use a command action and move him and Kyle Shadow Simmons in with the shield. With the second command action, we move Cliff in with the red shirts and we leave Shadow in with the shield. You'll see why in a second. So that was his command action. Now for his first action that he's going to do, he's going to fire his Beretta, which has burst, and we're going to go ahead and apply tracer rounds to it. That's going to give suppression on those 2 red shirts, fully expecting not to do any damage, but we want the suppression. That's what we're aiming to keep here. So 2 yellow dice. Beretta, bayoneted Beretta, that's crazy. 2 yellow dice against the first red shirt. Red shirt has 2 armor, so you're going to need 3. Nah, certainly not. Second one, and certainly not any damage to those, but they're both suppressed, and that'll be important for us to remember. I'll just throw a suppressed token on that. Now his second action, what we're going to do is we're going to use this stamina and we're going to retreat a space. Since we're retreating where enemies are already at, we're going to take a wound. To do so, we're going to drop back 1, and from this spot we'll throw the nail bomb. The nail bomb is going to give me blast, but also it'll give bleed. It'll give bleed. No need to roll it. There's no way to have any successes here. We're going to fail it both ways. But now both of those have bleed on them, which will also be important. And now I'll take the last stamina that I want to use and move that. Move our character back out of the way. We'll move him back here. So he's fine from the red shirts. Red shirts can't move to attack him. In their range, they can't attack Cliff also. Since it's the end of Cliff's turn, because of mustard gas, he will take his second wound, and he is all done. He is all done. Now the enemies activate and counterattack back. Now our first counterattack is against Kyle Shadow Simmons. Kyle Shadow Simmons has a blast vest, and he is in a covered situation. So the shield's going to attack. The shield's going to attack with an attack of 4 with suppression. Kyle Shadow Simmons is going to go ahead and roll a red and a yellow as a defense, and he'll also upgrade his defense to give him 2 reds. 2 reds, 1 yellow against 4 defense. Kyle Shadow Simmons, please defend yourself well, and he defends himself superbly. No damage from the shield. Now both red shirts attack him. They'll attack him with 2 damage. Because they're suppressed, they only attack with half of their initial attack value. And they'll attack Kyle Shadow Simmons. Kyle Shadow Simmons rolls a red and a yellow as defense against the first guy that's firing with 2. He defends it totally fine. Second one, firing with 2. Kyle Shadow Simmons defends himself totally fine. So we luck out. Kyle Shadow Simmons does not take any damage whatsoever. And now it is Kyle Shadow Simmons' turn, but he is also suppressed, meaning he has to pay an extra die whenever he does anything. It's now Kyle Shadow Simmons' turn. Each of the red shirts has 1 damage on them. 1 damage because of the bleed that was placed on them before. The bleed is now gone, and they are no longer suppressed. I took a picture of Kyle Shadow Simmons, but this is why I love, at the moment, Jagged Alliance so much. Kyle Shadow Simmons' turn, and just the amount of options he has here. So I want to talk through some of the options. Kyle Shadow Simmons' gun is a WA 2000. 1 stamina that lets me fire 2 yellow, or 2 stamina suppression that I can fire 3 times into the same space. Or what I really like using is the red that he gets to fire twice at the same space. He has a laser sight that if he uses that, he gets a marked if he rolls a blank. It is a spring bolt upgrade that gives him an orange dice, but also removes 1 success. So there's a possible strategy here, right? I can move Shadow Simmons and allow him to shoot twice into the red shirts area and roll a red and an orange, hopefully killing both red shirts. This is why I love the game so much, the options that it creates for you. The goal here, though, is a grenade launcher. The grenade launcher for 3 stamina allows me to blast, and that's the hope that we're going to aim for and try to accomplish something here. The defense you saw out prior. The characters. He has John Peter Bulls, which gives a stamina. It's not a big deal, but once per activation I get to move a target. And you're going to see the use of that in a minute. The other 2 things, attacks against targets in the same area deal bleed, which may turn out to be important if I have to use that. And then a mechanical, which we don't care about at all. Right now, remember, Simmons is suppressed. So everything costs him 1. At the beginning of his turn, he gets 2 fatigue back. So at this point, he has 9 fatigue. So I have 9 fatigue to do options, and I have a command option, and I have a free move. Each activation is free. So I have choices here, and this is what makes the game so exciting. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and do Shadow Simmons' attack, but I'm going to do it slightly different than what Mr. Smith suggested. He's probably the smarter one in the room, but there's a piece of information I didn't tell him. I've got a card sitting out here that's called Refugees. The camera's not going to pick it up. It says if I can achieve a skill roll later, I'll get 2 allies back. I told him I had 4 allies. I actually only have 3. But I'm going to go for broke here. I'm going to use all my allies up with the intent of getting 2 back. So this is what I'm going to do. With Kyle Shadow Simmons, the first thing I'm going to do is use the free move by John Peter's Bull, where I can move any target in the sector. I'm going to pick up the shield and put him in there with the 2 red shirts. So he's used. We'll just flip him so I know he's used. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the grenade launcher. It's going to cost me 4. I'm going to use the grenade launcher for that red die. I want the blast. I want to do as much damage as I can to everything in that little space. So I'm going to take the grenade launcher and use all 3 allies. Use all 3 of my little allies that I have. I don't think they're called allies. I think they're called rebels. That gives me 1 red dice and 3 orange dice. My intent here is to roll as much damage as possible. And 7's probably the number I'm looking for. 3, 6. Yeah, if I can come up with 7 dice, I think this finishes my concern. Let's see what happens. I should really do this 1 by 1, right? That would be more exciting. Let's do an orange dice first. Okay, a 2. Second one. A 1. All right, it gives me 3. Let's go and do another orange. That gives me 4. Nah. 2 or 3 is probably going to be the best I can get here. 3. 5, 6, 7. Damage into that little area. A grenade launcher goes in, hits 7. Red shirt has 2 armor, 3 health left. He's dead. Both red shirts are dead. The shield, 3 armor, 3 health, dead. All 3 things in there are dead. And that effectively ends Shadow Simmons' turn. That ends all the drama going on. We'll flip the little camera so we can see all the little guys laying down. Oh, that's so exciting. Look at that. Wow. What a win. Mr. George with the win. I appreciate all the help he has. And then we can use up the rest of it. I appreciate it, guy. This is what Jagged Alliance does to you, though, all the time. You have choices. You have lots of choices. What's the optimal way to use it? Thanks a lot.